the next episode of Chefy Smart Cooks. Today on the menu is chili mac. We got some diced onion, bell pepper, garlic. We got a 28-ounce can of crushed tomatoes, 14-ounce can of red kidney beans. We got our better than bouillon beef. You can also use beef stock. We have a number of different chili powders we're going to use. I kind of like to mix it up, right? I'm not one to make my own chili powder, which, you know, of course, if you want to get fancy, you can. But if you want it to taste truly authentic and it's something original, not somebody else put together, you can mix a bunch of different brands together, and then, of course, you technically have your own chili powder. We got some elbow macaroni, and we got a couple pounds of beef here. We're going to brown our beef in this skillet. Once our beef is browned, we're then going to add in our vegetables, saute those up. We got our pan on medium-high heat here. We're going to go ahead and add in some olive oil to the pan. Got it nice and hot. And then we're going to brown our beef. I kind of let it sit on the counter for a little while. You know, you want your meat to kind of come to room temperature. It'll cook more evenly that way if it's not extra cold from coming out of the refrigerator. When you're going to brown something, that sizzle is kind of what you want to hear. This is a couple pounds of ground beef here, about 2 pounds, 2.5 pounds or so. Going to get our seasoning in. You kind of want your spices to saute as well. So I got some pepper here. I'm going to add some salt. This is just pink salt. Regular pink salt. Onion powder. And you season to your liking, you know, to your tastes. In my opinion, seasoning is not an exact science. Everybody's taste buds are different. This is garlic powder going in. And as I've said before, you want to add your dried herbs at the beginning. So we're going to add in a little dried oregano. Fresh herbs are for right at the end. And then we're going to get in all of our mixtures of chili powders that we have here. So this is one chili powder, because remember, this is chili mac. So we want that chili flavor to kind of come through. And, you know, you don't have to go out and spend a ton of money on chili powder. You know, this is nothing fancy here. And I definitely wouldn't go with a chili powder or chili seasoning mix that's already seasoned. You want to be in control of the salt in your dish. This is cumin going in. Cumin is that spice that you always recognize when you're eating something Mexican. Alright. And we're just going to allow our meat to brown. Once our meat is brown, then we're going to add in our chopped aromatic. Alrighty. Beef brown. We're going to get our veggies in. This is about 1 onion. I chopped it up. And this is half of a green bell pepper and about 3 small cloves of garlic. So if your garlic cloves, you know, are really large, or a nice size, you can probably get away with 2. But I was kind of at the center of the head of garlic, so they were pretty small, so I had to use about 3. Alright, and we want these onions to kind of sweat and give us their flavor, so you want to season at every layer. So we're going to put a little salt in there, get our onions giving off their juices. Add a little pepper in. Give this a good stir. Alright, I'm going to turn the fire down just a wee bit. It's a little hot, hotter than I like. And the smell in here is amazing. You would think I've been, you know, had a pot of chili in the crock pot all day. So, you want to saute these for about 5 minutes or so. When they start to get translucent, you are going to add in your crushed tomatoes, your kidney beans. You kind of want them to absorb the flavor of the chili, not to just taste like they came from the can. I poured like a good bit of the liquid off. There's not much of the liquid that comes in the can still in here. I don't really want that flavor in my chili. Again, this chili mac's gonna taste outstanding and super homemade. We're just taking a little shortcut with the canned beans because, you know, beans take 6 hours to cook. With the crushed tomatoes and the beans, we're gonna add in about a cup or 2 of water, and then we're gonna add in 2 teaspoons of our beef base, because 1 teaspoon of base makes 1 cup, 8-ounce cup of broth. And we want, you know, that beef flavor in there. And then this is about 3/4 of a pound of elbow macaroni. It's not quite a pound. I use some of it to make another dish. So our onions are nice and translucent. As you can see, they're not really white anymore, and that's what translucent means. We're going to add in our crushed tomatoes. Oops, got a little piece of the paper there. I don't want that. And our kidney beans. See, as I said, there's just a little bit of that liquid in there. It's going to add a little body to the sauce. And then we're going to get 2 cups of water in here. Alright, give this a good stir. Okay. Then we're going to get some better than bouillon in here. I'm going to probably do, since we put the crushed tomatoes in, I'll probably do about a heaping tablespoon, about that much. Should give us enough seasoning. Remember, again, we got to add macaroni to this. That's going to also soak up some of that seasoning we put on the ground beef. And that beef base is roasted beef base, so it's going to give you that flavor like, you know, you simmered your stock on the stove for hours. So we're going to just let this come to a boil. And as you can see, it's starting to look a lot like chili. And we're going to toss our macaroni in. let that cook up, and we're gonna just finish it with some Kobe Jack cheese. Our chili mac is just coming to the boil. At this point, I would say you want to adjust your seasoning. So give it a taste. See if you need a little more salt, maybe a little more chili powder. You know, ask yourself, what exactly is it missing? What is that it's lacking? Hey, it might actually even be perfect. Like I said, cooking is not an exact science. You make adjustments as you go along. Now we're boiling. We're going to get our macaroni in. Like I said, about 3/4 of a box, maybe half a box of macaroni. So maybe about 8 ounces or so I have in this box. My pot doesn't look quite big enough to accommodate all that macaroni though. Because as you can see, this is we're already at the top here. So I think I'm going to kind of scale back on the macaroni. Because remember again, the macaroni has to cook. So it's going to absorb the liquid we got going in there. And we don't want this to be terribly dry. You know. And you want to turn your fire down a little bit once you add the macaroni. Because this is not like boiling pasta in a large pot of water. It has a tendency to stick. So you want to make sure you stir it occasionally, make sure nothing's sticking on the bottom, and you just want to cook your macaroni until it's just about done. The macaroni's cooking pretty well. It's not quite ready yet, but as you can hear from the bottom, I gotta keep on stirring. I want it to stick to the bottom. I want, you know, all the macaroni to cook, absorb all that flavor we spent all this time developing. And once that macaroni's just al dente, you know, just cooked, we're gonna add in our cheese, because after all, this is chili mac. So we need the mac and cheese portion of this dish. Okay, macaroni's done. As you can see, it's kind of got a loose consistency, not quite there as far as macaroni is concerned, you know. So what we're gonna do is just turn the fire off, and like all good meals, you need to let them stand for about 5 minutes. So we're gonna let this dish rest for 5 minutes off the heat, and then we're gonna stir in some Colby Jack cheese. The chili mac has rested, and as you can see, it's significantly thickened up now. It's really looking like mac because we let it rest. Alright, now we're going to stir in our cheese. Macaroni's still hot. I'm probably going to add roughly a cup in here. I kind of want to reserve some for the top, you know. My kids kind of love cheese, so to give it that macaroni sort of vibe, we're just going to fold in our cheese. You want to evenly distribute it. All throughout your macaroni. And that is the one pot wonder that is chili mac. We're just gonna grab a bowl, serve it up. add a little extra cheese, maybe sour cream, maybe a little chopped onion, maybe a little green onion, you know, whatever toppings suit your needs. Maybe even a little guac. Dinner is served.